Ananda, we are here on the corner of Searchlight and Scotts Avenue. You can see Searchlight is closed from here to Hazleton as police conduct their investigation. 3 people shot here around 1:20 this afternoon, including a 9-year-old who we now know is in critical condition. And take a look over here. As you see, police have laid down evidence markers. There is broken glass and items strewn about in the road here, the remnants of a violent and terrifying scene here. One witness said that the shooting happened down the street there, and then this white F-150 rolled down the road to where it is now. And take a look, a bullet hole in the windshield. Again, this was a terrifying scene. A 9-year-old in critical condition, med-flighted to UC Davis Medical Center. 2 men, a 28-year-old and a 29-year-old, transported to local hospitals. And this is a very residential neighborhood. A lot of children here. Look, just across the corner, we see a birthday party, a bounce house, children, families enjoying their Saturday afternoon. We spoke with one neighbor about what he saw. Madison, it's grim here in Greenville. We see block after block of destruction, streets and driveways littered by the shells of what were once people's vehicles. We see homes burned right down to their foundation, trees scorched right down to the trunk, and everywhere you go, this thick, heavy haze, this smoke that's really hard on the lungs. But CAL FIRE says it may be good for the firefight because of these low hanging clouds. They say it reduces fire activity. They may be able to get some aggressive steps in today fighting the Dixie Fire, but that of course will be cold comfort to the people that we met last night. Madison, it's really quiet here tonight in Greenville and pitch black, so dark out here without power, aside from the occasional headlights of a first responder vehicle. In fact, we're using our headlights to light up this street for you, but we promised 2 evacuees we met in Quincy that we would be here to find their homes and let them know if they're still standing. The road to Greenville is eerily quiet. It leads to a path of destruction, block after block of leveled homes and crumbling storefronts. The library, you can see straight through, books that fall to ash to the touch.
There is no Greenville now. It went.
We met Ray Casanova at the Quincy Evacuation Center Friday. He saw the flames rip through his town when he escaped, but he asked us to check on his home for him anyway.
It's mobile. I got a chain link fence. Then there should be a white Toyota pickup truck sitting there.
We called the Red Cross with bad news.
Is his house okay?
His house is gone. Yeah. But we learned that our reporting helped reconnect Ray with his family.
Because he was on TV, that they recognized him and they knew where he was. So you guys did real good work.
Friday night, we watched as firefighters initiated a backburn near the next town of Crescent Mills.
Structure protection efforts in Crescent Mills have been successful. We have hose lays, we've done brush clearing around homes.
And they said, okay, this looks totally defensible. We are not going to leave. We're going to stay here and protect your house.
Carl Spang asked us to check on 2 homes on his property, a 3-bedroom house at the top of the hill where his son and family live, and Carl's triple wide too. It appears that the mobile home down below is also here and intact.
Thank you. Papers and everything, thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
You know how much a relief that is. Thank you.
And we will be here continuing to cover the Dixie Fire wherever it leads us throughout the weekend. We'll keep you updated. The police tape, the flashing lights becoming an all too common scene here in Stockton, but with a little boy among the victims in this brazen daytime shooting, neighbors say that this one was especially shocking and sad. On a street corner in Stockton, one 9-year-old is turning 10.
11.
Another is fighting to stay alive.
I don't know what it is about that corner, but all the time you go there, there's a shooting.
Gary Silva was born and raised here.
It gets scary.
He heard the gunshots.
3-4-9-5-7.
Hours later, investigators still combing over the evidence.
And what we've learned so far is that our victims were inside a pickup truck right behind me. when another vehicle pulled up beside them and opened fire.
2 men in their 20s suffered gunshot wounds. A 9-year-old boy was hit too, med-flighted to Sacramento in critical condition. It happened just a few days after a deadly home invasion, 5 blocks away.
In an apartment complex where an uncle was shot, killed while protecting his family.
A 9-year-old girl was hurt too when the shooter hit her over the head with the gun.
You know, it does get to you.
Neighbors holding their children a little tighter.
Because you have in your mind, what if that was mine? You know, and that scares you.
In a city with 16 homicides this year alone, kids are being caught in the crossfire. Madison, I'm standing outside the emergency department at Sutter Medical Center, but this is a problem, the delays, a problem at multiple hospitals around the Sacramento area. And I've got to tell you, it's come up in my private conversations with first responders on multiple occasions, but they say the problem has gotten so severe now that they are taking it public for the first time.
It's a problem that's been occurring for 10 years. We're just now at an unsustainable level.
Sutter, Mercy, UC Davis. At emergency departments across Sacramento, ambulances crowd outside, patients waiting for a bed.
If you zoom in, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's at least 8 ambulances sitting there right now waiting to offload patients into the emergency department.
Keith Wade with the Sacramento Fire Department says his crews are spending hours of their day on wall time.
And then they essentially have to just stand there and wait, sometimes 8 hours for a bed to transfer their patient. In the meanwhile, patient care is suffering out in the field.
With so many resources stuck on the wall, there are fewer ambulances to respond to 911 calls. Patients, too, waiting for hours for the hospital to let them in.
What's their plan? What plan do you have moving forward?
There's always been a plan. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to affect that plan.
Kevin Smothers, Chief Medical Executive at Sutter, says hospital emergency departments are in crisis. Huge demand coupled with staffing shortages.
It's really been exacerbated over the last several weeks to months from that standpoint. We know it's been a problem in the past, but not to this extent.
He says hospitals have discussed bringing in more paramedics or sending ambulances to urgent care or walk-in clinics to ease the backlog. But he says it's more than hospitals and fire departments can do alone.
So we need help politically in order to get the resources to provide those services within the community.
But with a new wave of COVID, first responders fear the situation will get worse before it gets better.
We hope something can get fixed. We're going to continue going out the door and running these calls. It's just a big, frustrating problem for everyone involved.
And all of this wall time carries a number of costs. It costs taxpayers money in terms of man hours. It costs the fire department in terms of resources and morale. It also costs precious time at a time of an emergency when you've got so many ambulances at the emergency department tied up there on wall time, and just how much longer it would take to get an ambulance to a crisis or a place where there's an emergency happening.
Absolutely, Luke, and I understand this is a multi-layered problem, but what can we all do to help with this issue?
Yeah, one aggravating issue recently has been with this latest COVID spike is people are calling 911 when what they really want is a COVID test. First responders would urge you to seek another outlet for a COVID test because if you call 911, you're going to end up going to the hospital, waiting at the emergency department for hours, and a paramedic or an EMT will be right there with you. For a class of race cars built in a home garage,
it is totally DIY racing.
Spec E46 is exhilarating.
It's just awesome to focus all your energy on driving and forget about work.
Older generation BMWs that started life as passenger cars.
If you want to enjoy the sport and you're not wealthy, you have to learn some fabrication skills.
Jim Winnie built his right here in Roseville. Number 99, ready for a test day early Friday morning at Sonoma Raceway. When people say it could never happen here.
Right. Yeah, it did.
Right here along this sidewalk, as he'd done many times before, Jim parked his dually diesel truck, the trailer with his race car, and thousands of dollars in tools. When he woke up in the morning, it was gone. Surveillance video capturing the thieves hauling off the truck and trailer.
That's always where I park the night before I go racing, and this time it didn't work out very well.
Jim is out thousands of dollars and countless hours in the shop. His neighborhood has lost a sense of security.
Yeah, it bothers me. It's really upsetting to all of my neighbors because we're all in the same boat. Nobody wants to get robbed.
In his other community, the amateur race car drivers, there's talk of taking up a collection to help Jim replace his race car. But for now,
yeah, everybody's pretty sad.
Sonoma will have to wait.